Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Cosmo Films Limited Q1 FY22 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant line will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Saurabh Bhave from Essential Technologies. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Bilal. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Essential Technologies, I welcome you all to Cosmo Films Limited's Q1 FY22 earnings conference call. From the management, we have CEO Mr. Pankaj Poddar and CFO Mr. Neeraj Jain. I request you all to refer to the investor presentation which is uploaded on the website, which can throw much more light. Starting off with the statutory declarations, certain statements in this conference call may be forward-looking. These statements are based on management's current expectation and are subject to uncertainties and changes in circumstances. These statements are not guarantees of future results. Now may I request Mr. Neeraj Jain to take us through his opening remarks, subsequent to which we can open up the floor for the Q&A session. Thank you, and over to you, Neeraj ji.
Well, thank you, Saurabh. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First, talking about the June 2021 quarterly financial results. The company has posted record consolidated EBITDA of 142 crore rupees during the quarter. This is continuous uptick performance by the company from last 9 quarters in a row, which reaffirms that company's strategy is working in the right direction. Consolidated sales for the quarter is 688 crores, which is higher by 43% from June 2020 quarter. And there are a couple of factors working behind this. Primarily, higher specialty sale by 20%, better margins, and raw material price increase which got passed on to the customers. The EBITDA has increased to 142 crore during the quarter, which is 53% higher from June 20 quarter. And this was primarily on the back of 3 factors. First, higher specialty sales, which has actually grown 20% year on year. Better operating margins. BOPP from margin has been running at 38 rupees per kg during June 21 quarter compared to 28 rupees per kg during June 20 quarter. And the third, of course, uptick performance by the subsidiaries. Subsidiaries taken together have performed 22 crore rupees of EBITDA during June 21 quarter compared to 1 crore in similar quarter last year. And this was largely on the back of higher sales, better margins, and improved operation efficiency in subsidiaries. The enhanced EBITDA together with the reduction in consolidated effective tax rate led to increase in PAT by 85%. Even the EPS has increased by 96% higher than the PAT increase, primarily because we did buyback of shares in December 2020. Trailing 12 months EPS now is at 151 rupee compared to 127 rupee in FY21. On balance sheet side, net debt to EBITDA is stand at 1 times and net debt to equity at 0.5 times, reaffirming strong financials. Credit rating agency CRISIL has upgraded company's long-term credit rating during the quarter to AA-, and short-term credit rating has also improved to A1+ with a stable outlook. The upgrade in credit rating reflects a strong financial profile. The company is looking for close to 300 to 330 crore rupee of capex during FY22. And as we discussed in the past, this will be primarily on specialized BOPET lines. Value-add capex to further enhance specialty film portfolio and specialty chemical division. The financials are expected to remain fairly strong even after this capex. Of course, the bottom line impact for this capex will effectively come from the next year. Talking about the specialty films, which has actually grown 18% year on year during last 3 years for us. And in fact, FY21 growth rate has surpassed 20% on a larger base. June 21 quarter specialty sale has grown again more than 20% on a much wider base. The company's growth strategy with continuous investment in R&D, sales and marketing, employee practices, quality and customer satisfaction. As announced earlier, we have increased R&D headcount to 30 numbers to further enhance company's focus on R&D. The company is enhancing its specialty film portfolio and has launched multiple innovative products, making the product pipeline even further stronger. Just to name few products, shrink label film, direct thermal printable film, there are a few other products which got launched during previous quarters. From growth perspective, in coming years, we see growth coming largely from B2B segment as well as B2C segment. Here, B2B segment include specialty film, packaging films, specialized BOPET line, which will effectively add 20% capacity, and specialty chemicals. On B2C segment side, specialty chemicals, including fabricizer, and many more products to be launched, and of course, pet care. Cosmo Specialty Chemical, a 100% subsidiary of Cosmo Films, during this quarter forayed into FMCG industry with the launch of a product called fabricizer, which assures 99.9% protection against viruses and bacteria on clothes. The company's R&D has successfully completed the development of 20 plus textile chemical products, each with unique specific USPs. Some recently developed products include low temperature soaping agent, soft fill silicone, EcoClay, which is environment friendly wetting agent. Many of these textile chemical products have received prestigious GOTS approval as well. And of course, customers' approvals are already in process, and we expect in the coming quarters, those should also come. Just to indicate, textile chemical is more than 10,000 crore market in India and currently being primarily dominated by some MNC players. Progress on specialized BOPET line is broadly running as per plan, even with the significant COVID-related challenges. We are targeting complementary growth in specialized BOPET line, which includes shrink label and other high-end specialty. This will partially substitute imports and is an opportunity to convert non-recyclable PVC film market in India, which is close to 30,000 metric ton currently. We are also ready for pilot launch of pet care in Q2 of FY22 under the brand name Ziggly, which will be a unique value proposition with omni-channel presence in an industry which is growing more than 25% today. Progress on pet care is running very well. The portal, resource building, brand strategy, first customer experience center in south of Delhi, technology, manufacturing tie-ups, and other infrastructure are broadly in line. We are expecting pilot launch in NCR during Q2. Moving to sustainability, which is our key focus area. Well, in the last couple of decades, there have been broader challenges like the prominence of climate change discussions because of extreme weather events, the need for an affirmative action on social issues, and a diverse range of governance issues impacting companies across the world. All these changes are driving the sustainability agenda across major economies of the world, and emerging economies are not far behind. The sustainability evolution is immensely helpful for companies as more awareness and informed discussions can help in developing business resilience and long-term approach. There is a clear evidence that engagement with diverse shareholders for companies on sustainability issues can create more balanced outcomes. Understanding where they stand on sustainability is an exercise that helps companies in identification of blind spots and then in figuring out how to address these issues. At Cosmo Films, we understand the utmost importance of sustainability and business resilience in today's business environment. We are carrying out an in-depth sustainability review and working on Cosmo's sustainability reporting. We want to ensure that all the stakeholders in the company, such as employees, customers, suppliers, investors, analysts, stakeholders, regulatory bodies, and of course communities around our plants and offices benefit from the growth, and we grow together. With this, now I will close my opening remarks. Call may be open for the questions, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask any question may press star and one on their touch-tone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may please press star and two. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. To ask a question, you may please press star and one. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We have a first question from the line of Nirav Jimudia from Anvil Research. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon to the entire team of Cosmo Films. Hello, am I audible, sir?
Very much audible.
Yeah. Sir, I have two set of questions. Sir, if I see your 2019 numbers and compare it with 2021, our operating profit on a standalone basis has almost doubled, like from 164 crores to 362 crores. And even in the current quarter, if we see the run rate, we are almost at 450 crores run rate on a standalone basis. So if you can help us, give us a broad understanding as how this incremental 200 crores from 2019 to 2021 has come across. So if you can segregate into three parts, like one, how increase in commodity margins. So what's the contribution of increase in the commodity margins in rupees per kilo, or some quantitative figures or in percentage terms would help. Second is increase in specialty film volumes as well as launch of new products. Because I was just seeing one of your slide in the presentation where packaging films contribution has gone from 41% to 55% in these 2 to 3 years. So if you can segregate in terms of the benefit from this segment. And third is the cost savings. What cost savings in terms of the process innovation we have achieved in last or 3 to 4 years. So if you can segregate the benefit of this 200 incremental EBITDA into these three broad parameters, that would be helpful. So this is question number one. And my question number two is, sir, if I see your annual reports of last 12 years, I think cumulatively we have invested almost 72 crores in R&D. So if you can segregate this R&D spend into two parts, like how much we have spent in terms of introducing new products, and B, the process innovation, like reducing raw material cost and reducing the water consumption, etc. Yes, sir. These are two set of questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your question. You see, on the standalone basis, primarily this increases for three factors. One is the specialty sales, which actually, as we discussed, has been growing 20% year-on-year for us.
Okay.
And, within specialty, we are able to do even better because we are slightly moving towards the high-end specialty.
Okay.
And is commodity film margin has been running well compared to what it was last 2 years back.
Okay.
But of course, is the operational efficiency, including cost rationalization projects which we did. I'm not sure whether we would be able to, bifurcate total increase in EBITDA because of these three factors. But broadly, primarily these three factors contributed to it.
But sir, if you can rank in terms of the order of benefits like A, B, and C, like how much? So if you want to rank in terms of the order of preference, what comes first, second, and third? That would also help, sir, if you are not able to quantify.
Well, we do not have, frankly, numbers behind this currently. And considering, more regulatory guidelines as well, I'm not sure whether, it will be right to indicate those very specific numbers.
Okay.
But this much I can say that, larger part of this would be specialty sale increase and better BOPP film margin.
Okay. Got it, sir. And sir, on the second question, if you can give some understanding.
So, you see, R&D in Cosmo is being done in two parts. Broadly, we look at in two parts. One is in collaboration with the large brands, where of course, the R&D expense is being shared between these brands and the Cosmo films. The second, of course, there are a couple of products where at each point of time, R&D team keeps on working on the new initiative, and these days it's going largely towards the sustainability products.
Okay.
So I think that should answer your question because not all R&D cost is being borne by the Cosmo films. The kind of the initiative which we are taking is much larger. Not restricted to the numbers which you indicated.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir, for answering the questions. I'll join back in the queue if any.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask any question, may please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Shubham Agarwal from Equitas. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. And once again, I would like to congratulate Team Cosmo for presenting such a phenomenal number. So firstly, I would like to understand the difference. So the numbers reported in our subsidiary, if we see Q on Q, the total turnover reported has declined from 66 crores to 40 crores. Whereas on the other hand side, the PAT reported has gone up from 10 crores to 20 crores. So if you can just help me reconcile what transpired in our subsidiary division.
Sure. You see, difference which you see between the consolidated sale and standalone sale is not the subsidiary sale. There are some sales which each quarter happen from the standalone India to overseas subsidiaries as well as the India subsidiary now, so which gets eliminated actually at the consolidated level. So when you look at the difference between these two, it will not actually reflect the subsidiary sale. It will reflect the subsidiary sale net of the intra-group sales elimination. I hope I answered your question.
Right. So basically, PAT would be the right number to see, correct? The difference, 20 crores?
EBITDA and PAT.
Right. So now going ahead, given that Q on Q we have grown almost by 100%, how do you think this will sustain going ahead? And what was the key reason for such a phenomenal growth?
As we discussed, the factors for the growth, you are talking about the subsidiary or the consolidated?
Subsidiary.
Subsidiaries, there are two factors actually. A large part of this is because of higher sales particularly in the US subsidiary, we won a couple of new contracts, and it's both on the specialized BOPP line, BOPP films, as well as our key product in the US market, which is a thermal lamination film. So that part should sustain because generally they are the long-term sales arrangements. Second is the enhanced margins. Part of the margin is sustainable, can be sustained fairly well. Part of the margin in medium to long term may not be sustainable, but will not be a very large figure.
Right. Yeah, that answers my question. So secondly, if you can elaborate on the current trend that you are looking at in BOPP prices. You did mention that the last quarter average spread was 38. So are we seeing this kind of spread sustaining in the current quarter also? And how is the current demand supply situation given we anticipate few more lines that will get added very soon?
Well, again, I'm not sure whether it will be right on our part to forecast, margins for the coming quarters. But having said so, demand level remains fairly robust, and that trend continues.
All right. And sir, in your presentation, you mentioned that based on the current capacity announced in India, new capacities may not be able to address the growing Indian demand. And on the other hand side, we have not announced any BOPP line since a long while now, given that we are operating at a very optimum level. So where do we see that thought process playing out going ahead? Are we looking at new capacity addition to be announced soon?
Right now, any new capacity cannot come before 3.5 to 4 years. Because of whatever is happening due to COVID, and now these line suppliers are also supplying newer technologies for battery and other stuff. So right now the lead time for a new line has become very long. And as far as Cosmo's evaluation, we are continuously evaluating which areas should we invest, and as of now there is no concrete plan. However, we are certainly evaluating it.
Fair enough. And sir, coming on to the newer initiatives, so how is the response for our fabritizer product in the market? And secondly, on the master batch line, where are we when it comes to the capacity utilization currently? How it is progressing?
As far as fabritizer is concerned, let me first share with our investors that initially we made this anti-fungal, viral, bacterial, anti-COVID product for a B2B industry. And, it was for 50 washes. I mean, we were giving that you wash clothes once, and for next 50 washes, the clothes will stay anti-viral, bacterial, and so on. So it was meant for garment and processors and so on and so forth. However, we were also working to try and address the COVID issue to the extent possible. And therefore, when we made this product, we liked it so much, we said this can become a very strong consumer product. However, the cost of the industrial product was very high, and therefore we made another product where we gave a claim of 7 days antiviral bacterial up to 99.9%, and the effect even goes much beyond. But it is that the efficacy reduces from 99% gradually. As far as, to be honest, we did not do as good a planning while we launched this as a FMCG product. We did everything with our existing team, because we took in a quick decision as far as this. However, since then we have moved really fast. We have started to hire salespeople. We have started doing some marketing around it, and I'm very happy to share that within less than 2 months we have already sold 1,500 bottles plus, and now the product will be not just available on Amazon, Flipkart. Many of the e-commerce companies have also shown their keen interest to display the product. So it will be soon available at Big Basket Reliance portal, and very soon we will start placing this product in the modern trade also. The first one will be Modern Bazaar in Delhi NCR, and we are talking to a lot of other modern retail outlets. In fact, few had agreed, but given that sales people hiring was still in the pipeline, that we said we'll do it once the sales team is on board.
Right.
So I think you will have to wait for at least 3 to 4 months to do any sizable scale up of this product. Having said that, we continue to do marketing and product awareness so that consumers do get aware. I can tell you that the response is very good because there's no other product which is similar to this. A lot of other industrial houses also have shown interest to launch it in let's say in other hospitals, hotels and all that. We are evaluating all those things. But I'm sure the bigger sales will start flowing from, let's say, January 22 onwards.
Okay. And on the master batch part?
So master batch, we have started selling from this quarter to the outside customers also. So month by month, our sales are going up. The sales that we did last year in 7 to 8 months, because we started the line in, I think, July or August last year. And whatever sales we did from July, August last year till March, the first quarter sales we have already so that clearly shows that there is a growth in the master batches too. So I would say from our capacity utilization perspective, we are close to now 50-55% utilization. And hopefully within next 3 to 6 months, we should be running with 100% utilization. And from next quarter onwards, you will start seeing some small numbers for textile chemical because the line will be commissioned in the month of August end. And from October onwards, you will see that also starting commercialization with multiple customers.
Fair enough. So lastly, one data point I wanted. What is the percentage of specialty last quarter?
In value terms, it has exceeded 80%.
Sorry?
Value terms, it has exceeded 80% now.
Okay. Got it. And lastly, on the BOPET line, how are we progressing on the capex, and when can we expect the commercial launch?
So end of quarter 1 next financial year, and the construction has started now, and end of first quarter 1 next year, we will be up and running.
Great. That's it from my side, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A reminder to the participant, to ask a question, you may please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Vipul Shah from Sumangal Investment. Please go ahead.
Hello. Congratulations, sir, for a very good set of numbers. My question relates to new BOPET line. What is the capacity of the BOPET line, and at full capacity, what type of turnover we can expect per annum from this line?
Yeah, so see, this is a multi-product line and therefore very difficult to give you a capacity number. If we talk purely commodity product, it can do say 35,000 tons actual production, more towards 35,000 tons. But given that it's a multi-product line, it will be very difficult to put any number to it. As far as the revenue is concerned, we can expect anywhere between 300 to 350 crores.
Per annum at full capacity.
That's right. And see, that number will also continue to go up as we keep shifting our volumes to specialty. See, polyester line is not just a line. Beyond this, we are adding a lot of other assets to it. So one, the line is very unique and special. There is no line like this in the world as of now. But we are not just limiting it to it. It has, post this several other operations that we cannot share in this call, which will result in specialty films being made from this line.
And sir, you mentioned that 38 rupees is the spread, so that is at the gross margin level, right?
That's right.
Okay, sir. All the best and thanks for the speech.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask any question, may please press star and one. The next question is from the line of Shreyansh Bhandari, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
I just have one question. If I'm not wrong,
Sir, your voice is not audible, Mr. Bhandari. I'm sorry to interrupt.
is it now audible?
Yes, it is. Please go ahead.
I just have one question. If I'm not wrong, the company has an investment of around 130 crores in perpetual bonds. So do you think it is the best use case scenario of that money? Maybe this amount can be used to fund companies' capital expenditures rather than unloading more debt.
Yeah, so you can consider it as a war chest for us. We are looking at expansion into different areas, and that is the reason you're seeing that your company has gone and invested into specialty chemicals, master batches, pet care business. So we are diversifying. We are investing in film industry also, and hopefully in the few years to come, from one business it will become a multi-business strong business house.
Yeah, but I'm asking that if the money invested in perpetual bonds could be used elsewhere to expand the capital expenditure.
Yeah. So we are evaluating it, right? Till the time we decide on another capital expenditure, the idle money has to be parked somewhere, right? We do not want to keep it. Therefore, it has been for the time being invested into perpetual bond. The moment we go into another investment, some of this money can be taken out of perpetual bond and invested in the capital expenditure.
Okay, and can you tell what is the rate of return on these bonds? Average rate of return?
So actually, we invested at a very good time, and the return is very good because not just we got the interest on these perpetual bonds, even we also got the yield to maturity. That number is fairly high because now post that the interest rates went down, and therefore this other valuation profit is also there. Obviously, that will come in the books only once these bonds are redeemed into the market. Until then, these are parked into reserves.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Ashish Kabra from Fair Deal Traders. Please go ahead.
Sir, my question is, firstly, can you give some guidance on the FY22 and for FY23? And sir, are there any brownfield capex also that you are looking at?
We cannot guidance as per the SEBI guidelines, so I really apologize for that. And only thing I can say is that we are tracking very well on all the businesses. The film business, our main focus is to continuously grow on the specialty. Investors are very well aware how we have been growing in last 3-4 years on that. The pet care business will soon be launched next quarter. It will be in front of all of you. We have done a phenomenally good job there, where consumers will be able to have a lot of convenience because of this. And I'm not sure if you are aware that pet care has been growing at phenomenally fast pace. Similarly, the textile chemicals and master batches are again very innovative industries, and we are happy that we are expanding in the right area.
Yes, sir. And sir, one last question. On the raw material side, sir, do you see any pressure on the prices of raw materials in future?
Yeah, the raw material in plastics has kind of stabilized now. It was fluctuating a lot in the first COVID wave, but since then I would say it is reasonably stabilized for last few months.
Okay, sir. And sir, and on that one, brownfield capex, do you have any plans of acquiring any company or such in near future, or looking at that prospects?
We are always evaluating. If any good opportunity will come our way, we will certainly evaluate it. But right now, there is nothing on the horizon.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Deshtan Chakravarti, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, a big congratulations on one more set of good numbers for the quarter. Now, we all know Cosmo Films as a great player in the plastic films business, and that's your bread and butter, right? But as an investor, I feel a little bit of increasing risk when I see your company expanding into, say, retail businesses. May that be pet care or, say, the new fabritizer business. So I would just like a little more light on what exactly are the plans that have been created in order to, say, deal with all kinds of problems and, say, increased business analytics, etc., and operations that need to be taken into consideration, like inventory management, etc., while entering into a retail business. And my second question, or say a question in line with that, would be, could you also give us a brief idea or say a timeline as to by when we can perhaps see all these retail aspects of the new businesses start to come aboard? Say, may that be 4 years, 3 years, something like that.
So we have got specialists on the board. So if I talk about pet care business, we have people from retail industry, we have people from e-commerce industry, we have people from the service industry. So it is not that the same B2B team is doing this. There are people who understand the subject fairly well, and I also review them once a month to make sure that we are taking all the correct decisions. As far as the revenue growth is concerned, the first launch is happening next quarter. Once we test it for 3 to 6 months, you will start seeing us expanding it really fast, and we may end up opening, say, one store every 30 to 45 days until we reach some 40-50 stores. I mean, that is a broad plan. Obviously, the success of the first few stores will really decide our fate as we move along.
Right. My next question would be, again, a broad aspect question, like understanding that there is so much happening and in such a quick time. As a top managerial person in this company, I would like your view of where you would like to see Cosmo Films in, say, about 5 to 7 years, like considering we're expanding into chemicals and that too in master batches, adhesives, etc., as well as the new pet care division. If you could just give us a brief idea as to where you would want to see Cosmo Films in, say, a long-term aspect of 5 to 7 years, that would be great for me.
In all these segments, we'll be in top 3 in India.
Okay, that's great to hear, sir. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Akul Broachwala from IIFL. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity, and congrats on very good set of results. So I just wanted to get some clarification on your employee costs and other expenses lines. So basically, do we expect these two line items to increase going forward on a quarterly basis, considering that you are going to ramp up your textile chemicals as well as master batches and also pet care? So just some clarification on that.
So see, the beauty is that the B2B business from master batches, in the first year itself, it was profitable, right? And we expect textile chemicals also to be profitable right from the first year. However, the other thing is that the B2C businesses, especially the fabritizer, will be a part and parcel of Cosmo Specialty Chemical, and we have to really see how we can tell our investors in terms of what are the marketing costs that we spend on fabritizer. So as we attain scale, we will see how to report those numbers. And similarly, in the films business, we have started this pet care, and as we had told earlier, that once we start attaining some scale, we will put this into a separate subsidiary, right? But as you rightly pointed out, in both film and chemical, cost will go up. In fact, even in quarter 1, there are costs attributable to fabritizer and for pet care business, which have been included. And as we need to once start reporting segmental and other things, we will start doing that as per the legal compliance.
Got it, sir. And secondly, just wanted some highlights in terms of, which are the specific end user applications which, from where you're seeing such kind of, high margin demand, or maybe you can just throw some light on that. Is it in terms of packaging? Is it in terms of lamination, or is it across the board?
See, all the 4 verticals that we have within the film, they all have specialities. We have identified certain areas. We have identified, like 5 years back, we said that film has to move into sustainability zone. We were the first in the world to say that flexible packaging has to become recyclable. And that is the time when we launched a product called heat-resistant film, the first version of it. And that had been a very good success till now. Similarly, we came with high barrier films, again to promote recyclability. And that again had been a huge success. Similarly, in synthetic paper, we said paper has to be recyclable. We can't keep cutting trees all the time. And that has been a very good success. So, we have considered the needs of the consumer and the customer, and accordingly have been launching products in last 4-5 years. And I would say that in every segment we have multiple specialty products. But at a very broad level, labels, lamination, and industrial has much more specialty content, while packaging to that extent doesn't have as much specialty content.
Right, sir. Got it. And lastly, like as you pointed out that, you won some contracts in the US. So, like, do you expect such kind of trend to continue, in terms of winning such contracts, not only in US, maybe in some other key markets like Europe or, other Asian markets?
We keep winning them every quarter. That is the reason the specialty growth is happening. Most of the specialty sales are backed by contracts.
Right, sir. Got it, sir. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Deepak Poddar from Sapphire Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. Now, sir, just I wanted to understand something on the industry perspective, like in terms of commodity margins versus margins in the specialized. So what's the correlation? Just wanted to understand, if the commodity margins reduces, does that mean that your specialized product margin also reduces, and to what extent? So some understanding on those front would be helpful.
So specialty margins remain stable because they are linked to raw material pricing, while the commodity margins change as per the demand and supply of the commodity films. And obviously, normally speaking, as we have told before also, that specialty margins are 2 to 2.5 times of commodity margins.
Right.
We cannot put a clear number there because it depends on how the commodity margins are there in the market, right? For last few quarters, commodity itself is generating a very good margin.
Correct.
But for the Cosmo investors, we have been multiple times saying that investors should look more at specialty growth than anything else in Cosmo.
Fair. So one can expect the margin in specialty to be stable, right? Even if tomorrow BOPP prices or the commodity prices comes down, our margin in specialized is quite protected in that way, right? That would be right way to understand?
Absolutely. We have made 3 categories, commodity, semi-specialty, and specialty. Specialties are products which are absolutely remain stable over the period, irrespective of how commodity moves. Semi-specialty has some correlation to commodity, but semi-specialty within the specialty is not that large. Majority of what we do is specialty, and the rest is commodity, which moves as per the market.
Fair enough. I understand. That's quite helpful. And so my second and last question is something on the sustainability of this quarter performance in terms of margins. So do you see that as a sustainable thing or as a base that we can build upon in the coming quarters?
See, as we said, we still are not a 100% specialty company. So I cannot say that the same margins are repeatable. But in general, our specialty growth is very, very strong. And even in commodity, at least in the export market, we are normally able to command a premium, a significant premium, because let's say in a container, if 10 tons of specialty has to go and 5 tons of commodity has to grow, we are able to command premium because of specialty. Domestic, we don't charge that much premium in commodity films, but specialty, obviously, we have a premium there. So in general, our margins will stay healthy. However, if commodity margins go up or down, whatever content we are doing in commodity business, that can always get impacted by it.
Yeah, understood. Quite helpful. All the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of S.K. Patel from Shanti Patel Investment. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Are you getting my voice? Hello?
Yes.
You are hearing. Okay. Now, what is our contribution of various verticals in terms of percentage? And what is the plant utilization capacity as in respect of all these 4 verticals?
You can get those information from our investors' presentation.
Both?
Yeah.
Achha. And what is, near estimate, what will be the earning per share as on 31st March 2022? Approximate. Internal working you must have done, no? Not precise.
We cannot give projections as per SEBI guidelines, so I'm afraid I cannot share that.
Okay. What is our market share in respect of our various verticals today, and who are our main competitors?
We always try and compete with us internally rather than trying to follow others. We are a firm believer that you should never try and copy competition, because then you will always be behind them. So for us, the competition is always internal.
Okay, what is our market share in respect of various verticals in an organized sector?
Yeah, that information you can very well check on the internet. Textile, chemicals, I can say Huntsman is there. There are 3-4 multinational players who are there in the textile chemical. Film, you guys already know, there is Jindal is there is Nahar is there.
No, sir, I'm talking about our market share. Our vertical market share in respect of verticals in which we are.
Yeah, so as far as labels, industrial film and lamination is concerned, Cosmo has a very high market share worldwide, not just in India. Packaging, again, in the specialty segment, we have a very good market share worldwide, while in the commodity space, there are so many other players. Textile chemical, again, we are trying to create niche of our own. And just to let you know, in textile chemicals, we have made 2 products which have gone extremely well with the customers. In fact, in Q1, they wanted supplies, but given that commercial production has not started, we could not supply them as yet. One is the Eco Clay material. That's a beautiful product. And second is silicones. Those 2 products have been appreciated very nicely by our customers.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Varun Gupta from Augmenta Research. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. So I just wanted to ask you, besides Fabritizer, do you have plans to enter the retail segment?
Yeah, we will scale it up as a FMCG product. As far as the retail is concerned, we are looking more as pet care business to get into retail space.
So just the pet care business and Fabritizer, no other products to be launched on the retail side?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Just to clarify on the previous investor question, as far as pet care is concerned, pet care itself has many SKUs. There are more than 1,500 SKUs which we'll sell in retail for the pet care business. And as far as Fabritizer is concerned, once we get some initial success, we cannot limit ourselves only to Fabritizer. We need to have complementary products in our range. Those kind of things we'll be able to decide once we taste some initial success in that segment.
In the interest of time and fairness to all participants, please restrict your question to one per participant. The next question is from the line of Vipul Shah from Sumangal Investment. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Can you quantify the cost we have incurred in this quarter for this retail business and pet care business?
I may not have all the numbers immediately with me, but
any rough guesstimate?
Just a second. It is. I don't have all the numbers handy because these are multiple businesses. But in the quarter, they'll be less than 1 crore.
For the quarter ended June, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Shreyansh Bhandari, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Sir, can you please tell us on what basis the company increases the salaries of the key management personnel? And second, if you can explain in short the master batch business.
The KMP is decided by the board. I have no say there. And therefore I may not be able to answer the question. At a very broad level, there's a fixed salary and there's a variable salary. Fixed salary remains fixed while variable is linked to the company performance. As far as the master batch is concerned, right now we are making film master batches, and there are select few companies in the world who are capable to make film master batches. So basically, these master batches help improve the functional properties of the film at a very broad level.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As there are no further questions from the participants, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for their closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Well, thank you. I think company is taking all right steps required to transform into specialty packaging and specialty chemical company with B2B and B2C segments in year to come. Uptick performance reaffirms the company strategy is moving in the right direction. While going forward, B2B segment, where we would include specialty film, packaging film, specialized BOPET line and specialty chemical, and B2C segment, where we would have specialty chemical and pet care, both these segments will drive the growth. Company's focus shall continue on improving specialty film, R&D, particularly on sustainability, which should yield results in coming years. These actions would continue to improve margins and would contribute in long-term sustainable growth. In the last, I would like to repeat the disclosure statement. Certain statements in our today's con call may be forward-looking statements. These statements are based on management's current expectations and are subject to uncertainty and changes in circumstances. These statements are not guarantees of future results. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you very much. So on behalf of Essential Technologies, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.